if you have like, say your mom is Jewish and your dad's Christian, then you're fully Jewish because the mom like takes over the like whatever. And if your dad's Jewish and your mom's Christian, then you're half.
I'm Catholic, so that's just because I'm Indian doesn't mean, you know, I wear the red dot.
I'm Colombian and Italian.
I'm Liberian.
I'm Indian.
I'm half Israeli. My
Black American.
Black.
dad's Russian.
Puerto Rican and black.
Indian.
Jewish. I'm black. A religion.
And why?
Well, race I think is more of like your more like the color of your skin, and kind of like your culture, like where you were born, and religion is like your faith and like what you believe in.
I was born.
3rd grade or so.
5.
Like, you know, 4 or 5.
Around Jersey City, it's a big population. You have the Hindus, you got the Puerto Rican, a little bit of white, then black. So,
1st grade.
I was little.
Probably about 3rd grade.
I think it definitely does. Like when people ask me what my like nationality is, I like usually don't say Italian just because I feel like my last name is like explanatory, and like I think I take more pride and like I'm more invested in like my Colombian side.
Puerto Rican, but I'm not exposed to them as much as I'm exposed to black people.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I think it does.
Like before then I was more like, hey, everyone I go around is more Indian, so it's like every party I went to it was Indian, or everyone that came over for dinner was Indian. So
elementary school, my mother told me that.
That whites in New Jersey were treated differently than blacks. They didn't expect me to be willing to open my own business. And when I went downtown, it was run by a bunch of Italians, and they showed that I was not one of the selected group of people.
What did she say?
You have to work harder.
2nd-class citizen, baby.
It's not because you're slow, it's not because your mentality, it's the fact that she's from Liberia and we African, and it's just history.
Found out the difference in blacks and whites and how they treat you in the South.
The dynamics between white people in the South and black people in the South, and then white people in the North and black people in the North is different.
But it was not easy to get along. It wasn't easy to do anything being black.
It's been that way since they brought us over here.
A way of life, and made it a little more difficult sometimes, but I got through it.
Every second.
I think I only really acknowledge it when I'm asked questions.
I have it in my bio on Instagram.
If I take tests and it says like Nicole said, like what's your ethnicity, like I'll put Hispanic.
Culture or age.
I just look at like intelligence.
Age.
They race.
Any tie between hometown and religion.
Probably hometown.
I guess culture.
I don't know. Whoever looks friendly.
Because if I identified with like race or religion, then I would really cut myself off.
Yes, and if you're doing this with someone else and they say no, that is a total lie.
No.
Honestly, no.
I actually really say no.
Based on the race, no. Not based on the race.
Yes, I think everybody does that,
Not immediate. Like
Yeah, all the time.
but I'm not gonna like not talk to somebody because of their race.
Sports team or
Skin tone, the way how you rock your hair,
like an attitude.
The way you act.
they look or dress.
the way how you dress, the
Basic culture.
Never,
Why?
because I really like being black.
No. Actually, no. That seriously is no.
I guess I never looked at it like that.
Not really. Like I don't know. I've never really thought about that. And like literally, like I didn't know like any Jewish people, and like everyone was like celebrating Christmas, and they had like their trees and the lights, and I was like really really sad.
When I was little, I used to want to be Indian.
I have no aspirations on being a different race. Like
listen to African music, dancing.
When I joined my dance team.
And like, you know, the food, the dance, like our clothes.
Like
I guess knowing the backstory of the whole slavery and all that stuff.
My dad's aunt was a victim of the Holocaust, and like she came out of it, and like she still has like the number like tattooed on her arm and everything.
I mean, I guess when Obama became president, but I feel like that's cliche.
We're very like traditional. I'm religious, so I go to temple every Saturday. So there's events that they hold, and when they do these events and they like talk about the importance, that's when you feel like, wow, I'm part of such like a rich history. Or like, I'm like, when I wear any clothes, like I don't hesitate. I'm really proud to wear what I wear because
I've never felt ashamed because there was always people that had the same nationality as me.
Never gotten in my way. I didn't let it get in my way.
Not that I'm ashamed of my race, I just am ashamed of society sometimes.
Definitely like not ashamed at all being Colombian, but definitely like stereotypes people like put past me for being Colombian, you know?
I'm a really like strong feminist, and I believe that my culture doesn't really approve of feminism. My grandma, she never called my grandpa by his first name out of respect.
Trying to change the book about histories about slavery and stuff like that in school. They're trying to teach these kids like it wasn't that bad.
You know, the woman's always supposed to follow the man. I think that's all crap. Like
The way some act today.
When people play into the negative stereotypes that our race has, then it's like, it's kind of annoying. Not playing into those negative stereotypes.
Lack of pride.
To put more emphasis on knowledge and education.
The way the young people decide to treat each other and to expose themselves.
Like they spit on the floor.
We could be more supportive of each other.
Learn to be more accepting of life.
Everybody else stick together. Everybody else can like get together, hire each other, trust each other, except for us.
Oh, we could stick together better. We could help each other much more. Be more genuine to each other.
Like there's like little stuff that could make it better, but I don't know how to make it better as a whole.
Naughty, stood up, we're spoiled, we get whatever we want.
They judge a lot.
That we're not open to other people.
Like Taco Bell workers.
And you know, you're Indian, you're vegetarian, you know.
Black guys, they're thugs.
Are you good with math?
The Ebola virus.
Yeah, we're all violent.
Mexican, and I'm like,
People assume that we're cheap.
Black girls, they're ratchet.
people think I'm a drug dealer.
Straight A's, perfect grades, getting into good college, owning gas stations.
Like I'm not Mexican, and they're like, it's the same thing.
Because people just assume that just the lighter you are, the more like friendly you are.
Everyone thinks Jewish people are really cheap.
Like we look ghetto.
We don't even wear Jordans.
Like the Jewish people have
I feel like there's a large population of Jewish people that are like rich.
Like they don't have relationship with their father.
We're all smart.
Gas stations, gotta agree with that.
On being like a typical white girl.
Like wear deodorant, obviously.
Right.
African booty scratching.
Unintelligent, chicken, watermelon.
Culture smell.
I don't think it's a stereotype. Like it's like seriously true. Like I really won't spend more than like $20 on like a shirt.
You're Indian, you should be getting the perfect grades, you should be getting the straight A's, and if you're not, then there's a problem with that.
Or are your eyes opened?
Really ghetto names.
Well, I don't think that I'm a ratchet black girl, so I really don't think that stereotype applies to me, but I can get ratchet if I need to.
It takes a lot to make a black woman to smile.
Some of them are accurate. I mean,
I barely eat watermelon. Watermelon makes my throat hurt.
I'm Hindu, but I got something personal against that.
I don't think they're accurate, but I think because they're forced so much upon, there's some people that just like roll with the flow. Cause
We only care about shoes.
majority of, you know, Indian people are smart because our parents push us to do our best.
Asian people are smart, or Asian people are good at science or math.
Yeah.
Trailer trash.
If you're in America, you need to know how to speak English.
Like, she's Asian. Oh, she's crazy.
Or like I have an Asian friend back home, and
That's not smart.
she's like not bright at all, and everyone's like, you are like the weirdest Asian person I've ever met. Like,
They assholes.
Well, Asians are aggressive. So
You can smell the white people coming.
Hispanic
My mom hates when people are like, oh, well, like, you can't expect me to speak English. Like, I'm from so-and-so. My mom's like, that's not true. Like, I came here. I learned it. Like, I speak perfect English.
I ever went to Walmart and they, like, in the aisle, the Hindu people, they in the aisle, and you know what I'm talking about. They in the aisle, you be like, excuse me. They gonna look at you like you got the problem.
Indians are aggressive too, and they generally have money where they can open businesses and things like that.
Besides they smell it, they just rude.
If you're Hispanic, then you shouldn't be like caring about school. Like,
I actually have a couple of Indian friends who's Trinidadian / Indian.
And that's sad.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They do and don't. I would say they do and don't.
it depends how you were brought up, I guess.
So I feel like it depends on how your parents like bring you up. Like,
No, I don't think so. Because
No.
Why?
No, it really depends on how they look.
no,
Like, I think it depends on how they look.
Yeah. If you have some black in you, they're going to look a little differently at you.
Any mixed person, if you ask them what their race is, they're gonna say black.
Yeah, I guess it can a little bit.
If the color's right, yeah.
They're just as black as anyone else.
They don't say, well, I'm half black, half white, half this, you know? Like, they just say black.
my cousin is half white and she looks white, except, she has really dark hair. So that's the only way you can tell that she's not fully white. Her skin is, it's white. So the same thing doesn't go for her as it would for me.
People assume that the darkest black people are sometimes the most violent.
I think there's like a big discrimination, like a whole thing that follows us.
Yeah, that whole light skin, dark skin, Drake versus Akon.
The color of your skin.
All Asians, but we're all from different countries.
You're Indian and you don't have the same morals as me, then you're like, I can't be friends with you.
The first interaction I had was I was in camp and this girl was like light skin or whatever, and she was like, oh, I can't hang out with you because you're dark skinned. At that point I didn't understand what it meant.
It's like the students self-classify it.
When first it comes with the skin tone, they're already gonna judge you off that.
Because of the way I look, that I'm different from other black people when we're all the same.
Nowadays, they just all about big butts. Like
Kim Kardashian.
Being pale. Yeah, and long straight hair, supposedly.
Long hair and straight hair, whatever.
Tall and skinny.
I would say, like, a white businesswoman.
Big puffy hair.
would be like light skin.
I feel like they don't want to look Asian. Like, people try to make their eyes look bigger. I don't really know too much about my culture.
big butts, like the tan, the long brown hair, like the big boobs, like the beach bods and like dancers and stuff like that.
Nicki Minaj.
Lauren or Marilyn Monroe.
Well, skinny. Like skinny, yeah.
It's like Barbie. Barbie.
Okay.
Lighter and they look more white, so
Long hair.
Big boob, big butt, pretty face. But a lot of them don't seem to care about a big wallet.
Both. I think it's both.
Oh, this hip hop stuff. And
It's neither. It's just how society forms people to think, though. It's just what society molds people to believe. Like, none of this shit is true.
Probably didn't see it like in person. It's probably in the media.
Pretty much Black History Month, I had a Malcolm X poster up, and we was overseas, and one guy, he's white, and his wife is Asian, so he walked by my poster, that he said, I don't know why you people approve of this guy.
Not directly.
No, but like it's all over the news now, obviously, with the whole Ferguson thing and then what happened on Staten Island with all the police officers getting shot because black people feel like they're getting like targeted. So it's obviously like still in society.
Right.
Follow you around in the stores. When you go to the movie theater, you have to sit up in the balcony. I don't understand why they would put the rejected group in the balcony, but that's where you had to sit.
Like, I mean, there was never any like outwardly racist things, but they would make like comments and like try to mimic the way I was talking.
I can't really specify it because it's more like little stuff or little instances that you like notice. But
Went to town, you couldn't drink out of the water fountain.
My godmother, she's in the army, and she like used to wear her hair, like it's like black hair, so like gets frizzed up or whatever. So she used to wear her hair in braids, and like her commanding officer made her like take the braids out because it was out of uniform. But she had it like in a bun, it fit over her hat and everything, so it was fine. But they wouldn't let her wear braids because it was out of uniform, and she had to take the braids out and like flat iron it or whatever. And she was in the middle of the Philippines where it's like moisture and everything.
probably in middle school. My neighbor across the street, the family has 7 kids, and they're all white. And my brother will go outside to like play, like play basketball, whatever. And like the kid that's his age, like started calling him like names, like racial slurs.
They're just a lot more rude. That's how.
Couldn't use the bathrooms.
Assumed, even though it was true because I was a black guy in the class or whatnot, and she just assumed I was an athlete because of, I guess, my persona. You know what I mean? I'm black in class, and I needed to be helped with something or another, and she just was like, "Oh, you must be an athlete." And then I'm like, "What if I wasn't an athlete?"
So I guess around like middle school.
The sign was in the window, said whites only.
There was this one time in elementary school where they were giving out flyers. Like, my dad is like really crazy, but we were giving out flyers like based on like I forget what it was. It was like, come to like this church event, like you have to come, blah blah blah. And my dad got like really ticked off because like we're not Christian, so he like called like the principal or something like that, and like he got them fixed or whatever.
I think like CCD, it was mostly white people, and like being the only Indian person, I don't think it was hard because they didn't treat me any differently. So I mean, we're all part of the same religion, so
Because I went to a primarily white school, and I was one of the very few black people, so it was kind of awkward.
Do you think it was more among the students?
Okay, in high school we had a presentation like about drugs, and obviously they brought up like Colombia, and for some reason they were like, is anyone like here Colombian? So obviously I raised my hand because like I'm not ashamed of being Colombian, and like every teacher, every student like put their eyes on me, and they would just make like nasty comments. So it obviously was like a negative experience, but like I'm not ashamed of all of being Colombian, like I wouldn't change it.
I think it was more like students.
I've seen it a couple times in high school, where I guess in high school, my friends and I kind of did it too, because most of the black people hung out together. So in the mornings, we would all sit in a little corner in a table. Well, it was in a corner. It was in the front of the cafeteria, and we sat there. And when like the white people would try to sit with us, obviously we were cool with them, some of them, but like it was just like, why are you sitting here?